Hello everybody, hope you're all doing well. To this video I'm talking about an admission an F1 steward has made on Max Verstappen, as well as the FIA pushing back against criticism that it did not do its homework properly on the F1 2026 rules. So let's start with Verstappen. Now he knows the rulebook inside and out and knows how to push the rules to the limit, and now FIA steward and former F1 driver Antonio Liuzzi has said that Verstappen does make life difficult for the stewards. Now this season, Liuzzi is serving as part of the FIA's rotating panel of stewards, and when asked if Verstappen is more precise in his approach than other drivers, Liuzzi said, as quoted by GP fans, "More than anyone else. As a steward, he really challenges us. Whenever we need to manage an incident, he positions himself right on the edge of the rules. It's hard to analyse his moves because he always puts us in a tight spot, whereas other incidents are often much clearer and easier to handle." Now make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my Formula 1 content and are kept up to date with F1 news. All your support is incredible, and thank you so much for helping me reach 56,000 subscribers. Now this year there are new FIA guidelines on overtaking, and in turn Liuzzi has stressed that Verstappen's competitors needed to thoroughly understand them if they want to counter his moves, with Liuzzi going on to say, "I would tell them carefully to re-examine and study the overtaking regulations. Even while overtaking or being overtaken, he's always thinking about his positioning. If he fails to do so correctly, he's the one at fault." But let's move on to what the FIA has had to say about the 2026 rules. Now they're brand new for this year. However, drivers have been very critical about the power units for 2026, especially on energy-starved tracks, with the battery playing too large a factor in performance. Now the FIA is trying to improve the situation by introducing new rules over the next 2 years. However, even before 2026 got underway, there were concerns about the new rules. So why did 2026 go ahead as it has? Well, the FIA single-seater director, Nicholas Tombazis, accepts drivers have been unhappy about many aspects of the 26 rules, but claims the governing body's hands were tied by F1's governance process in being unable to force through rule tweaks that it wanted done in advance. With Tombazis saying, as quoted by The Race, "We did anticipate a lot of these things that they've complained about in the 2 years before the launch of the season, and we did try to make some adjustments, but we failed with the governance that was in place. So I think it was realistically only to be expected." Now, to look after the interests of current and new manufacturers on the build-up to 2026, a Power Unit Advisory Committee was set up which dictated how rules would be set. And for major tweaks to be made, it required the backing from the FIA FOM and 4 of the 5 manufacturers at the time, and Tombazis insisted that such a framework was essential to keep things equal between old and new entrants, but it did mean compromises, with him going on to say, if a PU manufacturer who was not participating in F1, let's say Audi for example, they still had to be bound by regulations. They could not come to us and say, well, we're not participating, hence we can spend 5 times the money, for example. That would have been unfair. So that's why there was a governance agreement that, on the one hand, forced them to be bound by the regulations, including the financial and operational and all of that. But on the other hand, it puts limitations as to how much we can change things unilaterally as the FIA. Therefore, any changes had to be approved by a significant number of the PU manufacturers. And so for the sort of changes we did, we needed at least 4 of them to agree. Quite simply, 4 of them did not agree during the years when we discussed adjustments. But that's going to be the video from me. Thank you ever so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos, and until the next one, take care. Bye.